You often see a balanced approach that demands sacrifice.
A balanced way where everybody's sacrificing a little bit.
Our aim is to increase our national wealth so all will have more.
A little sacrifice from everyone.
Not just redistribute what we already have, which is just a sharing of scarcity.
We need shared sacrifice.
To demand sacrifice.
Together, we can forge a new beginning for America.
In the days of my youth, I was told what it means to be a man.
Welcome back. On the phone with us now is one of my favorite guests, David Morgan.
David is the publisher of the Morgan Report and a leading expert on precious metals investing. You can go to silver-investor.com to learn more. David, how are you doing today?
I'm doing quite well, thank you.
David, what's your current read on the market?
Well, volatility, Alan, I've said from the beginning of this year, 2012, I was asked in January, what's your take for the year? I said volatility will be the word for the year. I think I've been proven right here the last few days. We saw the gold and silver markets do quite well in anticipation of some kind of statement by the Fed chairman, Mr. Bernanke, that there would be some more monetary easing. Whether he used the words QE3 or not was to be determined. Came out yesterday and basically mealy-mouthed it, didn't say much, sort of indicated that there wasn't any easing in the near term, and the metals markets made a U-turn, sold off quite substantially. So, again, there's a volatility I've been speaking about.
David, would you not agree that any weakness in the metals is an opportunity to buy and add to your positions?
Alan, I am pretty conservative, yet, I can get aggressive, and I believe strongly that this is an opportunity. I put out a alert on my trading service, which is not a trading service per se, like the CFTC would have you, a registered advisor. It is a look over my shoulder, which I'm allowed to do. In other words, under free speech, I can say, well, here's a trade that I'm going to put on. The trade that I am doing, I'm in it. I've been in it at the market. Even with this volatility, it's still working in our favor. I don't want to give too much away because, I get paid for this stuff. But I like it. It's a very good way to take advantage of where we are in the metals markets right now. And all the indicators that I use, which are a help but no guarantee, are showing this as a pretty sweet setup. So I'm in there, Alan. I cannot sit on the sidelines where we're at right now. I see too many opportunities here, not only on a metals trade, but also in the mining shares as well. So, even though a lot of people are upset and concerned and look, they've got control and all of this negativity out there, I'm very positive. I think this is the time to get in. I think this is the time to get somewhat aggressive and think. Let's not let your emotions rule the day. Let's not let your life be run by some banker that speaks before Congress and can move the markets on a one-day basis.
I think that's a very interesting point, that we've got one guy that can open his mouth and influence an entire economy. That's in itself somewhat dangerous. But a lot of people felt that what he said yesterday was somewhat hawkish, that he wasn't coming out right away and announcing that he was going to take immediate action. But I don't think he's really changed his messaging a whole lot. He said things are plugging along somewhat sluggishly. We're ready to act. I mean, are the fundamentals any different today than they were last week or the week before?
Absolutely not. I mean, that's a good analysis, and I commend you for it. Yeah, there's nothing. In fact, there's so little that they can do at this point that if you just stay the course, I think you're going to come out, pretty well off. I mean, the big macro picture, which we haven't talked about in a while, is that the overall living standard in the Western Hemisphere, primarily the United States, but it involves Canada as well, is going down, not up, generally speaking. But that doesn't happen to you or your family. But the way to get out of that is to move outside of the mainstream thinking. You've got to move into an asset class or classes, and there's more than the metals, that will help you survive or thrive during this very uncertain time.
David, one thing I would like to point out, I am an active trader when it comes to equities. And I play the trading ranges. I go long, I go short, I cover, I do all of that. And our technical guy that comes on also puts gold and silver into that camp, and he trades the metals technically. My approach on the metals since I was 18 years old has always been, I'm not so much investing in the metals as I am moving my wealth into the metals, because this is the 11th year in a row just leaving the money in the metals in lieu of the paper fiat money we call the Federal Reserve has protected my purchasing power.
Well, great comment. I do both. And I have two services, because there is a buy and hold, just keep accumulating philosophy, which is very good. In fact, if you go to like Jesse Livermore and some of the well-known superstars in the investment arena, they're going to tell you, buy right and sit tight, which is basically what you're saying. And I agree with that to some extent. On the other hand, I'm not going to, talking out of the other side of my mouth, if you will, how volatile these markets are. And I like to trade a portion of it. It makes me feel better. I like to get those high highs if I can. So, we were in. I got out on the trading service at 21, watched the bottom. I got in at 12.5 and had somebody left at the $9 bottom. Missed the bottom on that one slightly. And then I got out at 48, and I've been nibbling back and forth in. We put on a platinum spread that worked out pretty well for us earlier in the year. I like to do both. If you can, not everyone can, and a lot of people have different philosophies and different, abilities. In other words, even if you're getting good help or good information, you might be in a work position where you cannot do a trade or don't have a trading account or whatever. So I'm in favor of both, but I do want to just clarify basically. You should continue to accumulate the physical metal as a savings. That's really your savings account, because had you done that, as you said, Alan, over the last decade, your fiat would have gone down and down and down in purchasing price, but your physical metals would continue to make you wealthier and wealthier in real terms. That's in the long term. Of course, they go up and down in price. We know that. On the other hand, if you can trade these markets with up to 25% of your account, which is what I do, and I don't always get that aggressive, of course, it can make you feel better. If the metals are pulling back and you sold it, you took a big whack off at the top, and it comes down, psychologically, it's kind of a neat feeling. So I do both.
Well, David, if somebody wants to look over your shoulder and see exactly what you are doing, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, just go to themorganreport.com, all one word, themorganreport.com. On the right-hand side of the website, there is a video for each of the services. So if you're not sure, just click. I think they're about 3 minutes long. It'll show you inside the members portion of the website what you get. So you see what the basic members get. You see what the trading service looks like and everything else. So that's the best way to get it. And the other thing is, I'm putting out a special. I did it at the show, so I'll give it to you guys. If you go to silver-investor.com/Vancouver, I just spoke in Vancouver, that's VANCOUVER, you will get the Morgan Report, the service I just talked about, the upgraded over-my-shoulder service for 30 days for free. So that's silver-investor.com/Vancouver.
Thanks, David. We'll get a link to both of those up on our website and Facebook here in just a second. Again, that's themorganreport.com. We've been speaking with David Morgan. Always a pleasure. Look forward to next week, David.
My pleasure. Thank you.
This is Butler on Business. Stay with us. After these brief messages, we're going to get into some more of the headlines on what's coming out of Europe.
She's here by